So like 2, 3 videos ago, I basically explained to y'all how, you know, frequency and vibration controls everything you see in the reality. So you're talking about how things oscillate or they spin or they cycle in a circle, right? So no matter what you do, you can't run from the fact that everything spirals no matter where you go in the reality. Like this is a zodiac sign. I mean, this is a zodiac chart, and there's a zodiac chart that's in cycles and circles. You have degrees of each sign, of each house or each piece or each dimension, so to speak. So when you think about this, this is how planes work. Now I'm gonna explain what a plane is and how planes work. So basically, you seeing everything on a 2-dimensional screen. This is supposed to be 3-dimensional, fourth dimensional, and so forth and so on shapes. So what you're getting is when you look at this Metatron's cube over here in the bottom right corner, you understand that those straight lines are not really straight lines. There's illusion of straight lines, right? Because you have to see how the circle is in each one. So the circle actually represents, when you get to that angle, it's actually curving. So you understand that even in those straight lines have a curve to it. So this is why you have Terrence Howard talking about the flower of life and these different things like that, because of at the angles of incidence, he's measuring at a certain he's measuring a certain degree of that angle. So I'm going to explain how planes exactly work. So a plane is not a place, right? And it's not just a state or condition. It may be considered a state or condition, yet the state or condition is the degree of dimension in a scale subject to measurement. Basically, when you're talking about measurement in terms of 360 degrees, 180 degrees, 720 degrees, so just depending on how many shapes you're talking about that are within themselves. So a dimension is a measure in a straight line, or the measure, like I said, in this case, it's going to be slightly curved, but it's dimension in a straight line relating to the measure like 3 dimensions of length, width, and height, right? Y'all know length, width, and height. We talk about it all the time. That's 3 dimensions. You're seeing 2 dimensions on the screen, but then if it had height to it, or it came out, it would be 3 dimensions. Then you add a 4th dimension, you would understand it would be able to see the rate of mode of vibration, or this is vibration in itself. So you are really comprehending how these dimensions and how these things work. So the Egyptians bodied the doctrine that motion is everything. Everything vibrates. Nothing is at rest. From the highest manifestation to the lowest manifestation, everything vibrates. So not only do they vibrate at different rates or motions, but they also vibrate in different directions in a different manner. So the degrees or the rate of vibration constitute the degrees of measurement on the scale of vibrations. So remember I talked about how, you have everything's in a spiral, but they'll show you. So just like even we talk about this periodic chart, right? Everything's in a spiral. It's all waves. You understand? It's all spirals that create waves. But you understand, or it ripples. So you understand that this, even when you look at this thing on the side, you see the sphere, you see these different elements inside of each other. What is it? It's a straight line. Like, try to really comprehend this. It's a straight line until it gets to the curve. Makes sense? So you're saying that every reality, like the torus field or auric field, it's interlacing or intertwining itself, or it's intertwining the different realities together. So you can't really separate one reality from the other. So a lot of times we see these different shapes that are formed in the auric field or the electromagnetic field itself. But if you look at the torus field, you can kind of understand that how it can manipulate shapes through these different wrappings or interlacings of these different fields. If you have a field like this in itself, and then you have other fields that interlace with it, you know what I'm saying? But you will have different aspects of the field, like you have a spindle torus, or more of a dualistic concept of like Vesica Pisces, and you'll have like a ring torus, which is more like a classic torus field when you think about how it's shaped. This is why we always talk about the Kundalini, because the Kundalini is not actually, you could say a serpent in a spiritual, but it's, in a sense, it's really talking about the coiling of energy. So you're talking about from the base of the spine, or from the root chakra, or even the root chakra of the earth. It still has that same spiral of energy, you know what I'm saying? And as things spiral up or spiral to the right, there's right turning of energy. And you have left turning in dielectric energy that's seeking the highest pressure point, or seeking the most condensed area, versus you have in magnetism, which radiates things out. So you have, in a sense, you have this up spiral that is, continuously growing things or may improving upon things, versus a decay spiral, which is actually decaying things and it's having a decay process. Like, same thing with the earth. You had a magnetic field that can create the, it can create multiple different shapes within it, but you have the auric field that comes from the positive and negative polarity, which creates that balance point or the neutral point, or that core. And the core is actually like a bubble instead of it's another bubble or spiral in the middle instead of a what they call a solid core, obviously, because it's full of gas. So see, think of it like this in this sense, right? Like, you got the balance of polarity of negative and positive. You have the constant spiraling of energy between, this is a positive and negative electrode or electricity. And then you have the magnetism that radiates at the center and spirals out. So then which is also that balance between the masculine and feminine energy, which is why you have the wings of the cherub in themselves. So you would also talk about the left and right brain, or the left and right hemisphere. So you're getting that these are actually teaching you not just balance, but this is also in the realms itself. It's in everything. So, like, even the spine being like a triangulation of the energy, or the Trinity, when we talk about the three aspects. So when you even look at this baby that's over here in the zodiac, what they're saying is the zodiac actually brings down these energies from the stars into the portal or the womb of the mother when it is being conceived from the sperm, when the sperm is crossing over. So between that 9 months of gestation period. So basically, these they would all like in the heavens, these energies would be crossing, and these energies would be, curving around each other and doing certain movements, and lacing the reality. And so this is how everything connects to the 7 chakras, and everything is intertwined between your field and the larger magnetic fields, and between dimensions, and between dimensions and between these planes of existence. And so you can't. So even though we break it down for physical purposes, and we break it down to teach people, ultimately, we're really just showing you the spiral nature of things. Because if I try to explain something into you in a 3-dimensional realm, which are concepts that you can't quite see, because you see hard angles everywhere. No matter what you do, you're going to see a hard angle. But nothing moves off of hard angles. It's just the illusion of photons. And photons is trapped light. So in this illusion of photons, well, let me show you. Well, you kind of see it right there, right? You see an electron up there. But if I was to show you a photon. So as a light particle enters the field of an atom, right? Basically, it will excite the atom. As this atom excites itself and it starts to oscillate faster, what happens is it will actually release this energy. And as it releases this energy in mass ejections, it will send out light photons, or these light these particles. And these particles, the way they are have a formation is in a triangle, or in a what we call a prism. And so what you're actually getting is these formations of light particles create a prism that creates the illusion of the physical reality, or the third dimension. So you have the image coming from the photon, and the electron having the what would you call it? Having the feeling of things being real in the senses, in the 5 senses, so to speak. So the electron is like the carrier of the information, and the light photon is the illusion of physical matter, in a sense. I ain't trying to give you no whole long science lesson and things like that, but protons, neutrons, right? These are protons and neutrons. That means these are the things that are inside of your atom. And when you talk about the strong nuclear force, so inside of the strong nuclear force, you actually got what you call quarks, leptons, and different things like that, and neutrons. But these quarks that are inside of the protons and neutrons actually have, the proton has 2 up quarks and a down quark, and the neutron has two down quarks and an up quark. So this is telling you, like, pretty much that protons could go even smaller than the atom itself. Protons, but also photons. And this photons are still created in a triangular shape. So you would have, this illusionary reality being streamed through like photos almost.